Okay, so we are still in South Dakota, but we are in Custer, walking the trails of Jewel Cave National Park. And we are going to go inside a cave very soon. So stay tuned till you see that.
We got black size limestone right there. Once again, in Dakota, that would be awesome. If we fast forward just a little bit, the ocean that was here leaves, other depositional environments come in and go. They deposit roughly 5,000 feet of sediment on top of this limestone. So something happened. Nothing was uplift. Uplift occurs. It's called the laramide orogeny. The laramide orogeny happened. We have the Colorado Plateau being created, the Rocky Mountains, and the Black Hills. Tectonic plates are shoving igneous rocks up through the ground, and that is when we get our beautiful cathedral spires in Custer State Park, as well as the needles along Needles Highway and the granite peaks that would eventually become both Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. But the thing is, what is going to happen when you have huge granite peaks being shoved up out of the ground? What's going to happen to that limestone? It's going to fracture a little bit, right? It's going to fracture a little bit. And all that sediment that used to be on top of us, it was exposed to erosional forces like here. That is also that precipitant. We call it nail head spar because it's nice and flat on top, kind of like a nail's head. We also have another type of spar, another type of calcite spar in this room though. It's actually older than the nail head spar though. It is precipitated in fractures of the limestone even before the cave itself formed. And it's sharp and pointy, kind of like a dog's tooth. So we called it dog tooth spar. We got dog tooth spar right up here, nail head spar down this way, and these are the jewels of Jewel Cave once again. This is where we get our name. But if we fast forward just a little bit more, that carbonic acid that at one time is filling. So I'm going to have y'all be in charge of the front of the line. So just make sure you don't go any further than this. And make sure the only person that passes you is me. I'm going to have actually the middle of the group. And this will be our next stop. And they ran into Custer to file a mining claim for the Jewel Tunnel lode. But then they realized pretty quickly that that stuff is not quartz. There is no quartz in this cave. There is no gold in this cave. All of this shiny stuff is going to be calcite. The thing about calcite is it's about the density of your fingernail. So of course it's going to be worth just about as much. His brothers weren't really going to make any money off of selling the rocks inside this cave, so they had to figure out what their next best option was. And that was giving cave tours. So they started giving cave tours, but once again, they made a little bit of a misstep. They didn't really take into account that a lot of their business would be coming from Custer. That might not seem like much of a big deal to us. It's a 15-20 minute drive, right? But US Highway 16 didn't exist back then. And of course, neither did the cars that we drive nowadays. So back then, for those visitors that would make it out to Jewel Tunnel, it took them about a half-day's horse ride just to get here. So not many people wanted to do that. But thankfully, at least one person did. That person saw Jewel Cave, and they thought it was worth preserving. So they took news back to the White House. And in the year 1908, using the authority given to him by the Antiquities Act, President Theodore Roosevelt made Jewel Cave the first cave to be a national monument. So we've been over 100 years now, and it's been 125 since we were first discovered. And it was in the flowstone. You got that calcified water flowing over the stone. And then we have one last formation I'll point out before we leave the formation. These guys here, they look like tentacles. Or maybe Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, those are going to be our draperies. And draperies form as water's running along the side of the cave wall, depositing those minerals it picked up on its journey from the surface. We've also got some pretty cool ones over here. And partial things. Well, my favorite are the ones right above our heads. I really like these ones. I think they're particularly cool. And it also gives me a chance to show you how another type of cave formation is made. Now we're going to see another type of formation that's somewhat like a drapery, except it's a little bit thinner. Because that stream of water that's depositing it is going to be thinner. And it's also got a little bit of this red stuff. This right here is iron oxide. It's what's going to give a red, orange, yellow, brown color to our formations. And we have this mixed with a thin drapery. We get something that looks a whole lot like bacon. And here at Jewel Cave, we have a piece of cave bacon that's over 20 feet long. It's going to be just up this way. We'll get to see it in a little bit. But
Bacon.
with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the light. Let's see. Junior and Gabe. Oh.
Watch your head. No.
It's coming from the surface through all these rocks.